In this work, we discuss a new formulation for distinguishing among real and AI-generated imagery by employing the concept of spectral learning. Let's examine together the main aspects of this introduced concept. In particular, we have currently reached a point where an abundance of image generation approaches are available. Recent commercial and open source models are capable of generating some stunning imagery. Also, some recent techniques, like LoRa, enable virtually anyone to further tune these available base models. From the standpoint of detection, however, this also means that it is very difficult, if not intractable at all, to keep track of all these available models. This is something crucial for accurate detection, as we cannot make strong assumptions about the artifacts introduced to the image signal just by observing a limited set of the available generative models. These inconsistencies are getting fixed with the introduction of newer models, while low-level artifacts significantly differ even among models with minimal differences. The bottom line is that detectors that learn to capture specific type of artifacts, which constitutes the primary paradigm in the field, unavoidably fail to generalize on generative models that significantly differ from the ones seen during training. The spectral domain provides a unique discriminative ability for the task we solve. Yet, these spectral artifacts are also one of the most diverse patterns among the different generative models. Our key idea is that while the spectral artifacts significantly differ among different generative models, the spectral distribution of the real images does not depend upon the introduction of any single generative model. Instead, we can say that it relates to long-term technological advances. This means that if we could learn a model of the spectral attributes of real images, the AI-generated ones could be detected as out-of-distribution samples of this learned model. This is actually exactly what we introduce in this work under the SPI architecture, both a mechanism to learn the spectral distribution of real images, as well as an approach to detect out-of-distribution samples of this learned model. First, we start by learning a model G of the spectral distribution of real images in a self-supervised way. In particular, we randomly mask either the low or high frequency of the image and set the learning objective to the reconstruction of the missing frequencies. For convenience, we employ a vision transformer as the architecture of this model. Then, to find out whether an image constitutes an out-of-distribution sample of our spectral model, we hypothesize that it will better reconstruct real images compared to the AI-generated ones. So, we encode with our spectral model both the original image as well as its low-pass and high-pass filtered variants. Then, we compute the cosine similarity across all the three pairs of these representations. As we employ the local features extracted by the vision transformer, we fuse these local similarities by computing their mean and standard deviation. We end up with 6 scalar values. Also, as we employ representations from all the layers of the vision transformer, we end up with a total of 6 times n spectral reconstruction similarity values. We further assume that all the computed spectral reconstruction similarity values will not always be equally important. For example, if an image contains no high-frequency content, reconstructing its high frequencies would yield limited information. Therefore, we perform a learnable pooling operation on all the features of the original image to conclude with a single vector that best describes the spectral context of the image. We concatenate that spectral context vector along with the spectral reconstruction similarity values of the image under a single overall vector. Next, we want to capture subtle details on arbitrary resolution images, which could practically be several megapixels large. Most computer vision architectures designed for semantic-based tasks, like for example the vision transformers, cannot efficiently scale to very large inputs due to their quadratic complexity. To solve this issue, we first split the image into patches, and then compute the spectral reconstruction similarity and spectral context vector independently for each patch. Then, we perform an attention operation among these representations and a learnable token to find out which image regions are the most important by considering both their reconstruction quality as well as their spectral context. This operation exhibits linear complexity with respect to the image size, so SPI can scale efficiently to some very large inputs. We evaluate our approach across a set of 13 recent generative models spanning a wide range of output resolutions and image quality, as well as we consider 5 sources of real images. We see that while several detectors exhibit high detection performance on specific generative models, they catastrophically fail on others. Instead, our introduced SPI approach managed to perform consistently well across all the considered generative models. To find out how our employed components contribute to the overall performance, we updated all our key architectural elements. First, we see that if we do not incorporate the spectral reconstruction similarity, performance plunges. This indicates the importance of our key formulation. Also, by incorporating frequency reconstruction as a pretext task, we managed to significantly exceed performance compared to other popular vision encoders, like the Dino-V2 or CLIP, even in our case by employing only a tiny fraction of the training data. Also, we see consistent improvement over common post-processing operations applied to images when they are shared online. At this point, it's worth highlighting that the spectral context attention also provides a mechanism to find out which image regions were the most important for the final decision. For example, we see on the left that a six-finger hand was correctly identified as fake. Finally, while SPI significantly increased the generalization ability on unseen generative models, we believe that it would be too premature for any approach to claim fully solving this extremely complex task. For example, frequently we encounter generated images circulating online in the form of the so-called derivative images. Screenshots, external photos of a screen, or even print materials are all examples of the derivative images. In such cases, the intermediate medium, which could also be analog, unavoidably significantly distorts the image signal. Consequently, we believe that accurately detecting them by solely relying on the image signal remains an interesting open question for subsequent research. Finally, to foster open research, we made the code, the train weights, and the data of our project publicly available. You can navigate to the displayed URL or conveniently scan the QR code. Thank you for your interest in SPI, and if you have any further questions, feel free to drop us an email.